Good morning. My name is Jay Rosenthal, and I'm the Managing Director of Business of Cannabis. Welcome to the Cannabis Daily Show for Friday, April 8th, 2022. Since 2017, Business of Cannabis has highlighted the companies, the brands, the people, and the trends driving the cannabis industry. We look to do that here every day. We would always love to hear from you in the comments below, and feel free to visit us at businessofcannabis.com, as well as through all of our social channels, including Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe below. Some announcements. The European Cannabis Report, the 7th edition, is available for download. Information on that is in the description below. You can check it out from our friends at Prohibition Partners. In September, we will be in New York for Business of Cannabis New York, a 2-day event with speakers focusing on New York, focusing on retail, focusing on technology. It's going to be a bonanza, so check out the information below there as well. For today's stories, True North, strong and weed. War impacts on the cannabis supply chain and vaporize this business. For our first story. Yesterday, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau proposed the next Liberal budget for the federal government in Canada and proposed some cannabis changes. 3 recent cannabis policy updates show Canada still has plenty of room for improvement, but it is improving. The 2022 federal budget proposes a new cannabis strategy table, which would work with the industry, and proposes changes to the federal excise tax system, include excise tax being paid quarterly, not monthly. Companies could transfer excise duty stamps between themselves, and amends penalties for lost excise duty stamps. In other cannabis news, BC is actually considering cannabis lounges, according to Global News. And while we're there, Jersey City has begun their approval process for cannabis lounges. And joining the rest of the country, Quebec's SQDC, that's the provincial buyer and wholesaler and retailer, are now finally selling cannabis edibles, or should we say edible. They only really have one for sale right now, but this according to a story in Eater, Montreal. For our second story, the Russian invasion of Ukraine is impacting the cannabis supply chain. Ancillary cannabis company operators say Russia's attack on Ukraine hasn't just affected gasoline prices, but now also the supply chain for some packaging, chemical solvents, and stainless steel. This in a story from Biz Daily. 2 big pain points are going to be the solvents, the extraction piece, the consumables on that side, and packaging, because everyone wants a specialized brand. This from Liz Geiselman, the co-founder of Canna Consortium. If marijuana businesses are using any kind of solvent, all of that's going to skyrocket in the next month or 2 because it hasn't hit the refineries yet. Not great news for those businesses or for consumers. For our third story, a non-existent vape business was used to raise $37 million. This, according to authorities charging him. On Tuesday, federal authorities arrested 53-year-old David Joseph Bonavac. I don't know how to pronounce that last name, and charged him with the wire fraud. And after they raised more than $37 million in a non-existent vape pen business and spent the money on, well, himself. This according to a story in Rolling Stone. According to a March 30th affidavit, he is a peripatetic grifter who frequently bragged about his wealth and talked about buying horses. He told investors his company sold both THC and CBD vape pens, and a PowerPoint presentation said he had a strategic relationship with a Chinese vape pen manufacturer and filled them with raw, pesticide-free oil with the help of a lab that infuses the flavors into the oil with a proprietary custom process that renders the vape flavoring smooth and discreet. A weird way to end the week, but that's it. Those are the stories we're watching today. Join 12,000 others and catch all of these stories and more in your inbox every morning at 7 a.m. Eastern with our Cannabis Daily newsletter. And for those keeping track, that was episode 64 of the Cannabis Daily Show. Thank you for joining us here on YouTube or wherever you caught the program. And please do subscribe.